right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the St. Louis podcast. I'm your glorious host today, Eric Brown, president of Vi Media and partner at Mogul Holdings, sitting next to Adam Farris, founder and CEO of Skylink Jets. Today, we have Jason Bockman on the St. Louis podcast, and we're going to get into the weeds with him and his business. But before we do, this is the St. Louis podcast each and every Friday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. We drop an episode on all major podcasting, audio, and video platforms where we meet with the most badass people and creators to talk about business, entrepreneurship, and current events. Let's jump into it. Jason, how you doing today?
I'm good, thanks.
Yes, absolutely. It's a pleasure having you on. We're going to talk about some good stuff today. So Jason Bockman, father, entrepreneur, business owner, owner of Strange Doughnuts. Today, we're going to talk about a few things from his story of facing legal issues as a teenager, starting his first business, getting his GED, an eventual college degree, and of course, starting Strange Doughnuts and the multiple other businesses along the way. But before we get into that, we must ask, do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
Isn't it weird when people don't?
Yeah, how do you not?
I don't know.
Have you seen these monkeys that are these orangutans that have learned to spearfish?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is that? Who taught
evolution? They saw it happen.
They had to see a human, right?
Yeah, they saw all these other monkeys, right? So, yeah. And then I definitely believe in aliens. Do you believe in ghosts?
Not as much.
Okay.
Not as much. No.
I think if you believe in
really,
I've seen a couple ghosts. Yeah.
Really?
I like the idea.
And I still don't kind of believe.
Yeah,
I know I saw it.
I like the idea of paranormal. Like I like the idea of like ghost hunting and things like that. But you watch the shows and stuff like that. It's all a little silly, isn't it?
You usually, for sure.
Yeah.
You got like the detectors going around.
It's like ooh, EM waves. I'm like, all right,
maybe it's just the AC unit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, a ghost. I have two ghost stories. They can get kind of long, but one, I saw a ghost when I was a kid. This guy died in my friend's house, and every time they're always like, oh, around this time every year he starts showing up. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
And we were out. There's like all these windows surrounding this room, and then like hearing stuff, blah blah blah. A hand came and pressed on the window. Me and him ran at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, maybe his brother messing with us, whatever. And then real long story short, we're sleeping in the basement, come upstairs, get some forks, and my friend, he turned around, he's facing me, and then I just saw like the color leave his face, like somebody pulled a cork out of him.
Oh God.
And he's
straight out of
stuttering.
a movie.
And I was like, dude, are you okay? And he goes, don't turn around, just run. And of course I fucking whip around, and there was a dude in a cardigan and khakis, old man, wispy, floating.
Really?
Yeah. We ran at the same time, and I asked him, because I was like, there's no fucking way, dude. But I asked him, what did you see? And he described the exact same thing I saw.
Really?
Yeah. And there was another time I have a furniture company.
Does he still tell that story?
I haven't talked to that dude in a long time, but there's like tons of stories like that.
Yeah.
That's
like
crazy.
where his mom, his dad, everybody saw it. Everybody would always see this.
I would get out of that house.
Yeah, I'd leave.
That's weird as hell.
He never did anything. He was just like, he was
just there to hang out.
old man. He just wanted to
Just hanging out.
Had some Werthers, yeah. And I have a furniture company, and we did a job at, we work with universities, for universities and hospitals. And I was doing a job at SLU. We hung all these curtains and changed all the AC units and stuff. And at it's called Water Tower Inn now. But the kid from Exorcist was there at some point before he went to Lexi and Brothers.
Really?
There's all kind of stuff that happened. One, I went to look to like do a walkthrough of the job, and there was a person in this hallway in a muumuu, right?
Yep.
And I told somebody, because they just kept walking back and forth in the hallway, and I was like, hey,
who is this?
I was like, there's a lady that's kind of, I think she's lost up there. She needs some help. And they're like, oh, that's Angelica. She's a ghost. I was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, no, seriously, was she wearing this? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, come on, dude, just go help the lady. And they're like, did you ever see her face? And I started thinking about it. I was like, I didn't. This lady was just walking back and forth, and it would be like she would turn her head right at the right time. Anyways, I ended up, a few weeks later, I'm hanging up all these curtains.
Yeah.
Where is this called? What was it called?
Water Tower Inn.
Water Tower Inn.
Corner of Grand and Lafayette. And so I'm on the third floor. The windows are all taken out, and there's temporary plastic in the windows. I have a huge cart with all these curtains on them, and I just walk down the hall, and every time I pass a room, I throw 2 curtains in the room. When I get to the end of the hallway, I come back, I hang the curtains up.
Right.
And I walk in this room, and the mirrors are all broken, and there's blood all over the room.
Great.
I was like, I just got chills thinking about it. But I was like, I didn't see it. This is something I would have seen before.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see it. And then I was like, you know, maybe they use it as a hotel sometimes. So
Okay.
Like, some people were partying here.
Yeah,
I didn't
sure.
see it. They got drunk. They smashed the mirrors.
Right.
Whatever. I go to hang the curtains, and I just feel something, and I whip around, nothing there. I'm like, dog, stop.
Yeah.
I go to hang the curtain again, and something grabbed me, dude, and tried to push me out the window. I
Dude.
turned around to fight. This is my hand of God, dude. All my kids' lives. This
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
And I ran out of there. I didn't finish the job, and I had
Neither would I.
No.
Yeah,
Never
so-
going back.
those are my 2 ghost stories. So I wouldn't ghost.
I would Ghost and aliens.
Ghosts and aliens.
Yeah, they're there.
All right.
I try not to believe them because then you got to be scared of them. If you don't believe them,
See, that's the thing. If you don't believe,
but now I believe them.
yeah,
You know what I mean? You got
Why are people never ghosts fight? There's like alien versus predator. There should be
Right.
ghosts versus aliens.
Yeah. Because what are you gonna do? How are you gonna fight it?
because I feel like the thought of like a ghost being physical is weird because it's like a gas, right?
Just like possess you.
Yeah.
It's like a cloud. It's like a spirit.
Well, yeah,
Like an
yeah.
angel.
There's no good horror movies really about like ghosts either. It's all like Exorcist related or like evil dolls or something.
They
Yeah.
need a body. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need a body. Yep.
Maybe that's when it all ends. Is the aliens inhabit, the ghosts inhabit the aliens, right?
Yeah.
They get
That'd be
through
bad.
the-
That would be bad.
The ghosts and aliens partner up. That'd be nice. All right, so let's take it back here. You know, as far as where do you want to start with your story? Because we want to get into really what kind of led you into the person you are now. What's the best place to start with your story?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've told it a ton of times, but like I don't know, always in trouble
Mm-hmm.
when I was a kid. I mean, like started, you know, smoking weed. I was 11 or something, and then drinking and fighting and robbing houses and whatever. Then I got arrested for the first time. I think I was 11 or 12,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just never stopped.
Right.
I don't know. So doing harder drugs and more of that, and getting locked up for longer periods of time. And I grew up in group houses and stuff.
Yep.
And then I got tried as an adult for some stuff when I was 14. And then I was like, you know,
How were they able to try you as an adult?
a bunch of stuff happened.
Yeah.
I think the laws were a little bit different then,
Okay.
but there was, I had robbed some houses, got caught with drugs, selling guns, and then sold a gun.
Gotcha.
And then
So they
not
bundled.
like I was like selling a bunch
Yeah.
of guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. They like bundles.
So I'm
Yeah.
assuming you got it from one of the houses.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I stole one from out of state. And
Okay.
then brought it back here. And
Oh,
then
that's
sold it,
across
and
state
robbed the
lines.
guy, and we robbed the home and stole all of his guns after
Yeah.
I sold him one. And then my friends robbed a pawn shop and then got pulled over and tried to shoot the cop. And
Shit.
yeah. And so the gun backfired. They left the gun. There was a bunch of guns in the van
Mm-hmm.
after they robbed this pawn shop.
Yeah.
Jumped out of the van, crashed the van through a Blockbuster Video.
Yeah.
I mean, it was big.
Holy
It's
shit.
crazy. It's like
How old
my
were all
life.
you guys?
I mean, I was 14.
How old were the other guys? They'd be
all around the same age.
Okay.
In a stolen,
stolen car?
Ferrari van.
Okay.
Wow.
And
Couldn't
the
probably read at that point.
Yeah.
so then like I lived in like these low income housing things, and my friend came to the window, and I was like I didn't even know where I was. I was blackout drunk and the night before and on drugs and stuff. And I woke up, he's knocking on my window, and he's like, you let me in. He crawled in the window. And he told me what happened, and I was like, was I with you guys? I couldn't remember what happened. And
Yeah.
part of it I was. And the pawn shop was right like a block or two from our house.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up, I was like, did you wait right here? I went outside and I saw a car in the parking lot that I didn't recognize. And I was like, you need to jump out the window right now. You need to get out of here. And then,
Yeah.
like a task force kicked in the house. And
Damn.
Shit.
yeah, it was wild. So like, I don't know. I lived in crack houses. I was like, my friends sold crack and
Yeah.
drugs and
Yep.
whatever. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about it now. Like I have this Glenridge, I'm on PTO. You know what I'm saying? I'm the president of the Glenridge Elementary PTO.
Really switched up.
Yeah, like I've lived like 5 different lives. It's crazy sometimes to think about it. But yeah, like drugs, violence, just.
So how'd you transition out of that?
I got tried. I got found guilty for a bunch of stuff. One of the things was a home invasion, which means I robbed some people's homes when they were there.
Yeah.
And it was just like after all that stuff, you know, it was up like 2.5 years. And then, so I was supposed to get 22 years, and they said, I get 10. My public defender didn't tell me I was 22. He told me, you're getting 10 years.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, we're going to get a deal, right? And he's like, no, the deal is 10 years.
Yeah.
So you're doing. So anyways, I was a teenager, dude. And I wasn't even 18 yet. And so he's like, you know, if you take this habit into prison, you're never going to get out.
Yeah.
You know, and you're just going to keep reoffending while you're there, and you're never going to leave. So you need to get sober. So I went to a treatment center. He's like, this isn't going to help your case at all. I went to a treatment center. I brought drugs with me. I drank while I was there.
Yeah.
I just had no plans to slow it down. I didn't care.
Yep.
And something happened one night, dude, where I was like, I drank a bunch, did some drugs, and I was thinking like, I was physically drunk. Like my lips were all puffy. I was like, looked like I was looking through a piece of glass, gasoline smeared on it. I was fucked up.
Yeah.
But what used to happen is I would take a drink and like, I would chill out. And when I was like, it stopped working for me.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I haven't been drunk. I haven't been high in like a couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, what this relief it used to bring me. And I was like, man, I haven't been happy in so long. And I prayed. And I said, God, please help me. I was all like, God, please help me. It was 4 words.
Yeah.
The next day I said something to somebody in this treatment center, and this treatment center guy, he never told me like what to do or didn't, you know, he was just cool with me. He talked about himself, and he said, you know, he's like, I like fighting in Cadillacs. And he talked to me, he's like, you know, he's a fucking Hoosier. He had a spider tattoo on his head. He had like a mullet. And he talked about Cadillacs,
real gender.
And he just said like, he's like, man, I felt lonely around people I knew my whole life. And I was like, man, I feel that way. You know, I didn't tell him that. And then he said, you know, I couldn't imagine life with or without drinking. And I'm like, that's where I'm at. Right?
Yep.
You know, like if I keep drinking, I can't imagine my life is going to go on much longer.
Sure.
And then, but if I don't drink, I can't imagine not killing myself because I feel so fucking bad all the time. And so when I ended up talking to that dude after that night, and they let me stay in this treatment center, which there's like a 0 tolerance.
Yeah.
So I stayed there. I got out. I went to court a few months later. I gave away everything that I had, and because I was going to go away for 10 years. And I walked in. The judge goes, Mr. Bockman, and I said, yep. And he goes, what's different about you? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, we just get this over with. And he's like, did anybody come with Mr. Bockman today? And none of my family was there.
Yeah.
You know, I had burned all the bridges.
Yep.
And this lady in the back of the courtroom was like, I'm here. Ooh. This lady in the back of the courtroom was like, I came. Her name was Mary. She said she's from the treatment center, dude. And she's like, he's like, will you come over? And I went up there and I don't know what they said. But he just said, you know, I've never done this before. I've never seen this done. You're supposed to go away today for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's like, and I don't see it doing you any good if you're on this path right now. So I'm going to suspend this sentence for right now. And if I see you for a traffic ticket, you're getting 22 years. And I stood there, and he goes, go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, I don't have a ride. I don't have a quarter.
Yeah.
This is in St. Charles. And
Crazy.
I had to walk back. I walked back to the city, and the whole time I was just like, I can't believe, like, I was like, whatever just happened, it's not going to be wasted on me.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a long, I couldn't read really.
Have you ever followed up with that judge?
No. I do think there was a guy, and he didn't say it, I didn't say it, but I was at my son's soccer game a few weeks ago, and I was like, I know you.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's like, you probably don't know me. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah.
And he was the arresting officer. He was in court that day.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've never talked to the judge.
That's crazy.
Since then. But yeah,
that'd be a nice letter to get as a judge.
I should find the dude.
Yeah.
I should.
You really turned it around.
Yeah, that'd be
It
that'd
was
be
awesome.
amazing.
That's a good idea. I've never thought of doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, from there, I don't know. I just like, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So I went to, like, worked a ton. That was the only thing I knew to do was like work a bunch. I was like landscaping and roofing and working at Subway and valeting cars, like all at the same time.
Yep.
And I've always like worked hard.
Right.
And I started going to community college, and I was in classes literally like reading, or like learning to read.
Yep.
And all the classes that I was in, people had like helmets.
Yeah.
They were like
Yeah.
learning disability, or like head injury people or whatever.
Yep.
And,
They all got IEPs. Yeah.
That's where I started.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's it.
So okay, so you got your GED, right? So you went back, you got your GED. Now, how did you go from taking those type of classes to then Aaron told me about how you started the Mandarin program at college, or
I got in this budding scholars program.
so how the hell did you go from not being able to read to being a knowledgeable guy?
Yeah, and I went to it's just little steps at a time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I can hardly explain it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just, make a list, do the list. And I don't know. I had good people encouraging me.
Yep.
And around me that I started listening to what they told me to do. And a lot of it wasn't very, complicated. Just show up early, ask questions, stay late, see how you can help.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd show up to class early, and I wasn't like, I failed like all my classes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I ended up like being on the honor roll.
Right.
Yeah.
Because of the work the teacher saw that I was putting in.
Mm-hmm.
I started a hot dog vending business, and it worked really, really well, and that gave me a little bit of confidence. I was making a bunch of money, and I didn't know what to do. I was just buying Jordans and shit every day, Like literally, I'd make like.
Where'd you start that at?
The first night was Mardi Gras 20 years ago. 20 years ago this year.
Okay.
I started this hot dog vending business.
Nice.
And I made like it was mostly like ones and stuff, but I made a bunch of money, enough money to fill up a pillowcase of money. And I I banded all the money. I would like carry it like when I went to get a haircut, I'd pull out the brick of money and pay them.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
I don't know. Gotcha. So that like,
are hot dog stands, they clean, they good? I used to destroy them when I went to Mizzou.
Yeah.
They're prideful. You got to keep them clean.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, even if it's not, it's like a hot dog. It's kind of hard to mess up.
Yeah, that's very
on the
true.
counter for a long time.
It's kind of hard to mess up a hot dog.
Right.
The shelf life's hot.
We never made anybody sick.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good claim to fame.
Yeah. No, but it was awesome. And that I learned at the hot dog cart, like, I was talking like price elasticity, like in these economics classes.
Right.
Like that. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck are you talking? I have no idea.
Sure.
But I'm like, okay, if the hot dogs are free, when I had something
you
to
don't
apply
like
to,
yeah.
I'm going to get rid of a lot of hot dogs. If the hot dogs are $100, I might sell 2.
Yeah.
And so whatever. I was just like, all my papers they look like they were scratched out into like mustard, ketchup, buns. I just changed everything to a language that I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to UMSL, which is the only school I applied to because I was like, I'm not going to get into any other school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I, not because I couldn't, just because I didn't, I had no confidence.
Sure.
And,
sure.
They ended up asking me to apply for this program. I ended up, this is a cool story. Before I got out of my car, when I went to interview for this program, I was listening to NPR, and it said, 30% of China's water is lost through poor infrastructure. It's 5 major cities due to leaky pipes.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
And I walked in. That's like verbatim what it said. I walked into this interview, and I was terrified. And they're like, what do you know about Chinese infrastructure? And I was like, holy shit. I was like 30% of China's water. And they're like, I sounded like Rain Man,
Yeah.
I got accepted, and then I went to Beijing, and I went all over China, Beijing, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and Hong Kong, and just did case studies through like University of Beijing, which is like our heart. It's like it's one of the best schools in the world.
Yeah.
And and then I went to Johns Hopkins.
So what'd you learn in China? Did it make you like America more? Did it make you like America less?
I love America.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, America's the shit. America's the best country on the planet, period.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't like America, it's probably because you've never been anywhere else.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I stand on that. And like, man, I saw I've seen, I've been all over the world at this point.
Sure, sure.
And I've my ex-wife is from Venezuela. People talk about communism and want to do that. I'm like, good fucking luck.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Period.
That
I don't know, dude.
That didn't end up too well down there.
No. I'm like, dog, literally,
Yeah.
on my ex-wife's old block, there's no dogs, there's no birds. Because people ate the dogs and all of the birds.
Yeah.
So how does that, but I understand how younger people get to that point, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Where they're saying like, oh man, you see people with all this stuff.
Yep.
And I want some of that stuff. I don't have any of that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, motherfucker, because it takes 20 years to get it.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But like if I told everybody's going to have $50,000.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want.
No one would work.
No one works.
No one would care.
Dude, it's crazy.
No one
and
would
I've
give a
seen
shit.
it play. I've been in China and I've seen it. I've been in Venezuela. I've seen it. And then you go to like Chile, right? Which is like, I like economics a lot at this point now, but there's these dudes called the Friedman Five, and I met one of them at a party, which is wild.
Yeah.
Right?
Freedom 5?
Friedman, like
Friedman 5.
Keynesian
Okay.
economics and Friedman, right?
Yes.
So I met this dude at a party. I'm talking to him, and all these people are like around me. Like I always just end up meeting like crazy people.
Yeah.
Right place.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to this dude about economics and people keep trying to butt in, and he's like, get away from us, And then I see him on the news the next morning. I was like, I was with that guy last night at the party. And they're like, you were with him? What? And he, whatever. So I had a long talk with him about the country and whatever, but he said like, I was like, there's something different about Chile as far as like all these other Latin American countries that I go to, or, whatever, Latin countries. And he said, one, it gets cold here, so it's ingrained in us that winter is coming and we have to save. There's no like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Right.
Because tomorrow, there might be ice on everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but he talked about like some economic policies that they've put in place. Anyways, so I could talk about politics. I never talk about politics or economics.
I've never been to Chile, or actually South America in general.
I'm going to Bogota, Medellin and Bogota. I'm going to Medellin tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Shit. Yeah.
pumped. Yeah. It'll be fun.
So out of all the places that you've been,
Yeah.
what's your favorite and what's your least favorite?
Chile is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhere in particular?
There's this place called the Maipal Valley, like
Okay.
where all like the Chilean wine comes from.
Yeah.
And there's just like you can see ice on the mountain while you're on the beach.
That's
And,
nice. That's amazing.
there's
yeah.
like some, because of tsunamis and stuff there, they don't really value their coasts the way that we do. Like this, like a house you could buy there at the time, $200,000.
Yeah.
3,000 square feet with inside with 3,000 square feet outside that like, there's a kitchen outside and like living area outside.
Yeah.
So 6,000 square foot house,
Yeah.
$200,000.
Damn.
You can literally see windows, where in California, that'd be
Insane.
$30
Yeah.
million dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so, but they're afraid of tsunamis, and I get it.
Yeah.
But like,
What you value?
so
Well,
Least-
dude, does the Pacific Ocean, do they not get tsunamis in like California and stuff on the West Coast?
Not as much. I think I don't know. That's some like
Yeah.
geography.
Now
I
Earth,
don't know.
Earth.
yeah, because you've
magnitude.
never like heard of an, well, I guess that you have an earthquake out there, and maybe a different story.
Yeah.
That would suck to be there though, right in Malibu or right along the ocean right there.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those houses
I know they
fallen
they
in a
flood
couple
and
months
things like
ago,
that,
right?
But they flood, but nothing bad.
Yeah.
Nothing that's gonna like tsunamis are crazy.
That,
They like wipe out
Yeah.
entire cities.
Yeah.
They're only getting like the coastline, like Malibu, which I think it's something to do.
remember the videos
equator.
of the one, what is that, in Asia, like in 2010 in the Philippines or whatever
Yeah.
that was?
That was crazy.
Do you remember when that happened?
Sort
How
of.
old are you guys?
30.
22.
Okay.
He's young.
Right on. I remember it was, God, where was it? It was, they make a ton of coffee there. They grow a lot.
Colombia?
No, it was, I'll think about it. I woke up in the middle of the night like, oh,
Yeah.
I felt it.
Mhm.
I swear to God, I like woke up, was sad, and I like felt like this pain in my chest. And then in the morning, there was like 280,000 people
I
who
was gonna
died.
say, yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was-
I do think I'm like, we're
Yeah.
connected.
I was in
right?
like middle
Yes.
school or something. They like made everybody go home, or we like didn't do class for the rest of the day because it was such a big thing.
Really?
Yeah, so many people. I mean, it was
I don't remember.
it was like
it
I think the biggest loss of life in that region in like 30 years since like because they don't really,
Maybe in the world to that point.
yeah.
How many people died in like Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
I know. I think that, but I think besides like wartime, I think it was the most people that have ever
Has to
died.
be.
it's definitely the most it's ever died because of like a natural.
There's
Never
never been that
caused.
many people in the world.
No,
That's wild.
that's crazy.
There's 8 billion people in the world right now, right?
Something like
There's
that.
never been anywhere near that.
No,
Go back a few hundred years.
it was like that more consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find the information about it, but I don't see it.
I think it was like 2000, 10, 11,
It looks like it's 13.
13. Yeah, it was some. It was a good amount of
It
time.
says over 8,000 people died,
Yeah, only 8,000.
but it hit a
No way.
It
Where are
was
you
more than
talking
that.
about?
typhoon.
No, it's not
Haitian.
typhoon.
No, this was a
Haitian?
tsunami. This was tsunami of
Tsunami. Biggest.
Was it the Philippines or was it
This was the
somewhere else?
Philippines, I think. We're all researching.
227,000 people died.
Yeah,
Which
massive.
which one?
Indian Ocean tsunami is considered the deadliest tsunami in history. Sumatra.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Indonesia. Yeah.
Oh, it's all the way in
Indonesia.
04.
Yeah, it was a hell of a go.
Didn't they make some?
There was
There
another
was a
one
shitty
shooting
movie
like
that they made about that tsunami.
Really?
I remember there was a family like on a beach or something. There was an awful movie about it.
There was one in 2011 as well, in the same region.
227,000 people. died.
Boom.
That's insane.
I think it's at 227 to
Yeah.
230. Is that what it
That's
said? Yeah,
that's
230.
that's crazy. The amount of cleanup that
Goddamn.
you'd have to do after that.
Listen to this. The earthquake. Okay, so there was a 9.1 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Sumatra. The earthquake was the most powerful ever recorded in Asia and the 21st century and released energy equivalent to 23,000 Hiroshima-type atomic bombs.
23,000.
Yeah. It
It's insane.
displaced 1.7 million people and caused an estimated $13 billion in economic losses.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right.
That's
So what's
changes.
Back on track.
what's the worst place you've ever been?
Worst place I've ever been? I don't know. I don't really.
Well, what's the place where if people are like, maybe skip it.
You said you like politics and things like that. Where you been that has the worst politics? And you're like, I couldn't live here. People shouldn't live here.
Where just people have the I'll tell you this. I was in China and we went to because of the school I was in.
Yeah.
We went to all these. We met with like the best, the coolest, most interesting, successful people.
Mhm.
And we were in like the State Department.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so we met with like the I don't even know what his name would be, but like Janet Yellen or Trevor
Okay.
Powell or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Of like their bank.
Right.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I just asked, because I always ask these questions and stuff, and I just think it makes anyways, I was taught to ask questions everywhere I went
Yep.
and not to shy away from stuff. And I didn't
Mhm.
know, I was too young to know about not being polite.
Mhm.
So I was like, what about trademark infringement? And he was like, why would I
Yep.
why would I care
Yep.
if I'm stealing from you and I'm feeding my people? I was like, and he's like, and soon we won't need you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, and I was like, oh man, that's crazy.
He said that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And then-
they've been like that for years. I mean,
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
they didn't give a shit. And
No.
so the dude was like, and then I just kept asking all these questions, and I said at one point I was like, what about Mao? Like, didn't Mao kill like millions of your people? And he's like, Mao is like Jesus to us. We love Chairman Mao. And I was like, but he killed like 40 million people or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they're like, we love Chairman Mao. And the dude passed me in the hallway. So we go from this office to somewhere else, and the dude passes me in the hallway, grabs my arm real quick, he whispers in my ear, please stop. People are listening.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
So that's the answer everyone gives.
Yeah.
We love Chairman Mao.
Oh yeah. Boom.
Okay.
Flat out. And I
That
was
makes-
like,
yeah.
oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I nothing's gonna happen to me,
Yeah.
but these people might.
Yeah.
While I was there, dude.
If they
while
answer-
I was there.
Yeah.
Do you remember? You guys, you don't remember this, but while I was there, there was two things that happened this one year. One, there was ingredient fakes in toothpaste,
Really?
and a bunch of people got sick all over the world.
Really.
Yeah.
And then dog food, they were faking proteins. Okay. And
Okay.
so they would say there's 21 grams of protein in this,
Yeah.
but really it was just some shit that was put in the dog food to fake it. And all these dogs died. You can Google this.
Interesting.
While I was there in Tiananmen Square, they killed people,
Yeah.
that were responsible for this. And it was like some low level
Jeez.
bullshit ass people.
Right.
Not the people that were really there, but
They could blame for it.
yeah, just
Yeah.
imagine being in Keener Plaza,
Mm.
okay, and the Boeing shit happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just
So,
said,
hey, dude,
Boeing
we're gonna,
mechanic.
yeah,
out
we're gonna
there.
grab a couple janitors.
Yeah.
We're gonna shoot them in the face
Yeah.
in Keener Plaza. Hey, everything's done now, right?
Yeah.
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 We're sorry.
Yeah. I was there.
Jeez.
Shit's wild, dog.
Why would China have that program with the U.S.? What was the point of the partnership?
So I was an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
right? And so they wanted to make introductions to companies there to foster business
Trade.
relationships.
Things like
Right,
that, yeah.
Gotcha.
Because Chinese companies own so much of the United States now. Like you see all these like neighborhoods being built around here. It's the same thing. They're just fostering relationships, and then they're gonna,
So, and I met people there.
We need them at this point.
Furniture and mattresses, and that's when I started the furniture company. Now everything that we do is, with the exception of one product that is only manufactured there, because I'm sure it's like dangerous as shit to make, but like bed bug covers.
Yeah.
It's like there's like tons of chemicals that go into it. Right?
Really?
Yeah. Everybody at these universities and hospitals want them, but
Makes sense,
that's the only thing we make in China,
Mhm.
and everything else is right in the United States.
It's hard to say these days. I feel like most companies you really need China for most of your stuff, at least manufacturing wise, and
Yeah.
not many United States companies have the infrastructure to do everything. Almost, I feel like even if
The
it's
ones that do are
even if it's
smaller.
assembled in the United States, parts were built in China or elsewhere, Indonesia, other places like that.
Yeah.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to keep everything in the United States, which is unfortunate because
Expensive.
we can't separate. It's hard to be like, okay, we don't need you anymore. Or if like war was to happen with China, what are we gonna do? No more bed bug covers.
Right. Bed bugs are gonna
Boot up.
ravage the United States.
Yeah, just burn all the beds.
Yeah.
But maybe that's what keeps the aliens away. Is the bed bug decision.
Maybe. I think that's why the ghosts come, is because
Bed bugs are
keep you out of the bed.
crazy. There used to be a hotel series on YouTube where they'd go to like the dirtiest hotels
Mm-hmm.
and they just look for the nastiest shit. Like they try and find blood spots or anything like that. And it was horrifying how many bed bugs there were in like every single unit they went into.
Really?
Yeah.
They got to cherry pick a little bit though. It's not like every hotel has.
They're
bed
making-
bugs.
Well, they were
entertainment.
going to literally the worst
shit.
rated
Okay,
the
yeah.
worst rated hotels in the
Yeah,
U.S.
that makes sense. They're not
So
going to
you'd
Ritz.
show up every single time you'd show up and you'd be like, I wouldn't even pay to stay in these places.
Okay. I stayed in some shitty places.
Yeah.
It's harder now than it used to be. Well, back in the day, I feel like it used to be the Red Roofs Inn and stuff actually used to be decent. But now you pass like a Red Roof Inn or like
a
some of
Motel
these
8.
Motel 8, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get murdered in there
Right.
or if this
Is that
is
just
going to
because
be a
your
good
tastes
hotel.
have changed though too? There's still that probably looks attractive to a lot of people.
100%.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
You think? I don't know.
Without a
It has
doubt.
to be.
Without a doubt.
I stayed at a Red Roof Inn like with my parents. I feel like 6 years ago, and it was
Yeah.
sketch.
No, but
Yeah.
it just depends where you're at though, because you get like if we're at
Some
You're
town
22.
around.
You'd kick it.
Yeah.
You'd stay at a lower place.
well, think about this. All right, we have a farm up in Bowling Green, middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
If it was really cold or really hot one night, a Motel 8 that's AC sounds pretty nice. It
That's
just depends on where you're at. But if you're in downtown Clayton and you're looking at a Ritz for some Motel 8, you're gonna be like, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
It just depends on your environment. And
I
maybe
never
your
paid
parents
a lot
feel
of
like,
money for hotels.
Yeah, I just feel like back in the day, I just remember hotels not being like all the hotels were like privately owned more.
Mm.
It like people
Yeah.
cared. People cared more now. But
I
now,
do think that's for sure. That's
Yeah.
across the board. That's in everything.
I think it's everything.
Yeah.
Everybody used to care a little bit more. A little more respect going around.
yeah, I don't know what is with it now. Even I feel like even business owners are like getting less in person, less respectful, and definitely online. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I think the past couple of years have been like super hard
Yeah.
Yeah.
for business owners.
People have just gotten upset. Like they're
Yeah.
just people are just upset and mad. I feel like just mad.
Customer
agree.
service shifted though, because it used to be like no matter what anybody said,
Customers.
the customer's right. But
Yeah.
after COVID, I think it's like if somebody's on your Google review saying some shit, you're just gonna be like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're posting a video, you're doing something because it's somebody that probably never been there, or because back in the day they didn't bring like political views into your restaurant's
I'll
comment
say that.
section,
Dude, I don't
and now it's like
do
completely
any of
different.
that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm here to sell donuts.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I don't give a shit who
Yeah.
you love. Like, you
Mhm.
want to buy a donut?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't
he has
care
an
who you
American
hate.
flag hanging
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
don't
who
care
cares?
who, you're protesting. You
Yeah.
want to buy a donut?
Yeah.
I don't care.
I know.
I don't
Donut's a
care.
donut.
That's not what I'm here for. And I'm
Yep.
not trying to bring that. Like, it used to be you go, I don't know, there's a little bit of like sanctuary, right? In
Right.
like a restaurant. Like, oh, I'm going to go here and like turn off the world for a minute.
That's
Mhm.
the whole point.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
it's for.
literally the
Yeah.
whole point. That's the same
just
reason.
let me-
kind of
the
on
same
an
reason you
entertainment.
watch TV, right?
Yeah.
And then you have shows that have like political viewpoints in them, or it's like a show. there's like these shows that bring in that are like based on like Biden's actually the president in the show. It's like, can we not?
Yeah.
The whole point is to get away from this shit.
Oh, and like it pulls you out of
it's like the whole point is so we don't have to be in what we're in now.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's aggravating.
It's tough.
So why donuts? Why'd you start? What is it about donuts? There's so much food. There's so many different restaurants. There's different ways to make people happy. Why donuts?
So I was not selling hot dogs anymore. I was like traveling all over the country selling furniture. I would take donuts to customers.
Okay.
I was going in this donut shop all the time, and they were like, why don't you? They knew me as the hot dog guy, and I'm coming in, I would like look like you guys,
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, big man, what?
Yeah.
And they're like, why don't you buy our donut shop? And I thought about it, and then a buddy from college said, why don't we start our own brand?
Yeah.
So that's what it was. It was honestly like I knew how to do business, and he didn't, and I was supposed to be in it for 6 months.
Yeah,
I was going to be like, let me show you how to do this stuff.
Just replicating what works.
You're going to learn how to do the things for me. I'll teach you. I'll put up the money, and then buy me out, and then I'll go on. I'm happy, selling furniture.
Yeah,
and it just we're here 10 years later, and I'm the owner, and have been for 8.5 years or something like that. And so I don't. And now I'm like, I do a bunch of other stuff, and Strange Donuts makes me the least amount of money out of the things that I do. It takes the most time. It also gives me the most pleasure.
Why is that?
Nothing in my life is ever finished. Like I'll still go make donuts.
Yeah.
And there's something about my life where nothing's ever finished. When you're an entrepreneur, you do like 50 things a day. There's 50 things to do tomorrow. To go in and do a task and have it be completed is cool. So like when I go to sell furniture to university, the life cycle of the sale might be like 2 years.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
And so from the time I start, showing them my stuff till I get a purchase order and get paid might be 2 years. When I make a thing and a kid comes in, that's like his favorite thing.
Right.
And I hand that to him. Like, I don't care about like I'm not gonna say I don't care about money because I care. Of course I care about money.
100%. Yeah.
But like really, all that set aside. If I just cared about money, I wouldn't be having Strange Donuts. I'd just be going selling more furniture.
Sure.
But I love that I did this thing and it makes this person happy. And it there's a part of me, I feel like some of this is leaving where like I need some of this external validation. When somebody's like, this is my favorite thing. You're the best.
Yeah.
So like instant gratification.
Yeah.
So
that's it. That's why donuts. And now we have a place called Up Late, which is cracking.
So,
there's one in Banner. We opened one on Del Mar a month and a half ago. It's going really well.
Great idea.
And I think I've never thought about quitting, and then it scares me to think this way, but lately I've been thinking like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
And I'm very uncomfortable with the thought. Part of me going to Colombia tomorrow is like to just get away and think a bit. I go to this coffee farm, a cocoa farm, and where they make panela.
Okay.
And I'm going to a mango farm.
Yeah. Nice.
And so I'm like, see where some of this stuff comes from and blah, 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 blah. But like, I've been thinking, why donuts?
Right.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why, I don't sleep a lot, stressed. And, for what?
Yeah.
Not like I'm going to like quit or sell Strange Donuts or something like that. But I'm like, there's like, I've been, for the past few years, like head down, just going and haven't really there's been a lot of defense being played and not so much planning with a lot of the stuff in my life.
Yeah.
So,
well, I feel like with just thinking about just owning a donut shop, it's got to be, you have to, you can't charge $20 a donut, right?
Well, that's great.
I guess you can, but like you were saying earlier, you'd have a lot less people coming in.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So you have to, at some point, you literally have to hit a certain amount of donuts every single day.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're just plainly not going to make money.
Right.
And the price point is so low, I would assume the average person, spends, depending on if they're going in or not that much money. So you have to sell to a lot of people at the end of the day.
It's all volume.
Yeah.
And then, so maybe we talk about some of the nuts and bolts of it. Like, how much does a suit cost?
Let's just say $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
it could cost 20 though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could cost
It
$100.
could cost 100.
Yeah.
A suit doesn't have a cost,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
How much is a pizza?
Right.
You know, it could be 5.
Yep.
Or 50.
It could be 50.
Yeah.
How much is a donut? Donut's $1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like our costs have gone so crazy. Like our fryer oil, which is like one of the main expenses of a donut shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was $24 just a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's 96.
Yeah.
Right. My flour went from like, we were going through so much flour that we were paying like mill prices, like
Yeah.
what you buy in bulk from at the mill.
Sure.
Or what the
Sure.
distributor would pay. And so we were like $11, you know, an hour at 30. Sugar, you know, when you
Crazy.
get it, it's not so much that you can't get it anymore. There was like a year and a half where like if I saw sugar, I had to buy it.
Interesting.
You know, so it went from $17 for a 50-pound bag, you know, to 48.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but I can't raise my prices to the point,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like no one's gonna buy.
Because we'll go somewhere else.
Is their
7, 8
cost
bucks.
really up that much? Are those companies' costs really up that much to justify the costs that they're charging you?
So
Because there's no way it does. These companies have to be raking in more money than they ever have.
So I do think, you know, there's a bunch of different factors.
Yeah.
I don't think that companies are just sitting back gouging people.
Yeah.
So I can't remember the exact amount, but it was something like 30 to 40%, I think,
Mm-hmm.
of the world's unprocessed wheat comes from Ukraine,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And so
That makes sense.
obviously, if they're not able to process as much wheat because
Mhm.
they're fighting,
Mm-hmm.
you know, price of wheat's going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the
that.
stuff that I don't understand that I like,
Why don't we just open one somewhere else?
Because it's not open 1, it's open 500.
it's open,
You know,
you know, a
thousands.
few
Well,
million.
the war
acres.
started
Yeah.
quite a while ago. We could have started something.
That's you know what I thought. So when I was in Venezuela one time, and there was like there was a lot of different stuff that opened my eyes.
Yeah.
right? Where I'm like, oh, I am just a spoiled American.
Yep.
I expect to go to the grocery store and there be 80
Anything
kinds
you
of jelly, anything
Yeah.
you want,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And so I remember, man, like there was meat. We bought some ground beef, and they made meatballs, and they call me Champion de Bondigas, like the champion of meatballs, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I eat a ton of food.
Sure.
And I didn't. This little package of meat was supposed to be meatballs for everybody.
Mhm.
I just
Ate 'em
I
all.
ate all the meatballs, and they were talking about like how like my ex was telling me like, hey, you know, this is how much that costs.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be like for everybody, and that was supposed to be for like a couple days.
Gee.
And I was like, man, why when you guys saw this stuff happening, why didn't you like they had a big like a tiered like a terrace backyard? I was like,
Yeah.
why didn't you like plant
Yeah.
some vegetables? And I was like, it didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just do this? Why
Yeah.
didn't you just get a chicken? Why didn't
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, we didn't know that this was going to be the result,
Oh, okay.
right?
Because the
So-
downfall happened like pretty. I mean, it wasn't like it was
10
pretty
years.
quick.
Mhm.
But think about this, like, and man, I like, fuck it, I'm not gonna apologize for it. Like, I see some of those things happening here now. I
Yeah.
ask people who came
Yeah.
from those countries. Go ask some Cuban people
Mm.
who grew up in Cuba,
Yep.
and they fucking hate what's going on in the United States right
Mhm.
now,
Yeah.
and they have for 10 years,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
Because they can see it.
Yeah,
They've
they're
seen
like,
it
I've
happen once.
Done this before,
Yep.
Yeah.
and so I don't know. I try to heed some of these warnings, dude. I have a
Mhm.
farm, and I have like seeds there and canned
Mhm.
food, and some of it makes me feel crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying I
But
have
you got
guns and
shots
shit,
it.
you know,
Yeah.
and a bunch of ammo, and I'm like,
Right.
you're like a shitload. Not like I'm like fucking.
Yeah.
Anytime
Rambo.
someone's like you're a
Yeah.
prepper or you're prepared, it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, what does this guy know?
Yeah.
Dude. So I think,
Right.
but again, like, I'm like, I don't want to be them.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to be, you know what I mean? Like, you got to ration 8 ounces of
Right.
meat
Crazy.
for a week when so everybody ended up going to Spain. Before they left, her grandmother had 2, she retired and had 2 pensions.
Yeah.
That at one point they lived very well.
Yeah.
The month she left and went to Spain, her pension bought half a chicken and a loaf of bread a month,
Gee.
Holy shit.
which used to support a whole family, a nice home, you know.
So what went
trips.
wrong in Venezuela? I really don't know.
There's a guy named Maduro who's in
Yeah.
charge now. There's a guy named Chavez.
Yeah.
And so they just started saying that, you know, the leaders of industry are evil, right? Like, oh, your fucking washer and dryer costs so much. That's because, you know, GE is fucking you.
Sure.
Right. And then those
Which is maybe partly true.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's say
sure.
it is.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
So one, there was like tampons, pads, toilet paper. Toilet paper should be free. Right. Is what they're saying.
Right.
These people are making all this money off toilet paper, tampons, pads.
Got it.
Right.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Some of those people got rounded up. Some of those people escaped the country. Cool. Okay. Congressman, make the toilet paper.
Yeah.
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 Do that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So literally now you don't have toilet paper. You don't have tampons. Okay. That's real.
Yeah.
That happens. And so I think that, like, man, I understand like the people being upset and not having and looking at people that do and villainizing them. I get that. I understand.
Yeah.
But there are people, I mean, we have to accept that there are people that have knowledge, know-how, and the capability to do things that I need, and it's okay for them to make money serving these people. And I don't know, I just think differently. Like, if people have, like, people, and this is what I teach my kids, if people are billionaires, I'm like, yeah, that means they did something that helped a ton of people.
Yeah.
That's the only way. Not the only way.
Yeah.
But, like, increasingly more so, like, you know, that's...
Unless you're a hedge fund guy, maybe.
Right. But the hedge fund, here's the thing, is the hedge fund didn't make them evil. They were evil. They're either evil or they're good. Money just made either one of those.
Some of that stuff is in
exemplified.
my world. I don't
You know what I
understand
mean?
that stuff. And I don't understand, like, investments and
that's just for anybody.
All that shit. I don't understand.
Yeah.
All that
That's
stuff.
just for anybody. You know, if you're a bad person or a good person, if you're broke or have a ton of money, it's going to be, you're going to be broke with a ton of money, or you're going to be mean and broke, or you're going to be mean and rich. It doesn't make you one way or
For
another.
the most part, if you have
You know
a
what
bunch
I
of
mean?
money, you probably made a bunch of other people money.
Exactly.
Right. So I don't know. That's some of the stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that happen along the way.
Yeah.
But
So what can we learn from Venezuela?
that it's okay to have things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hard work should be paid off with good rewards.
It's okay not to have things too.
Right.
You shouldn't have things if you don't work
And it's
for 'em.
okay to speak up.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to say, hey, this is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay to, like, take care of your family, and then with what you have left over, help your neighbor. But I do think, you know, there's like legions of people, and again, I don't want to, like, there was tons of people that had nothing.
Yep.
Right. And I'm talking, like, not nothing, like we have nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I will go to places where there was literally like teenagers naked.
Yeah.
Right. Like, they don't have clothes. They're so fucking poor.
Right.
They would have, like, brand new baseball gloves and bats, though. You know what I mean? Because the MLB, like, seeds stuff down there so these kids can hit a fucking baseball a mile.
Right.
It's interesting.
But they don't have underwear.
Right.
And so
Why wouldn't the MLB send some clothes down there too?
who knows?
They don't care.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's a
I
bigger
don't know all the
conversation.
intricacies
It's
of
wild
that.
if someone were to go down there and be like, "Damn, he can hit a ball, but he's running around these bases naked. Maybe we should throw him
Some
a couple pairs of
right.
a
It's
couple
wild.
pairs of athletic shorts or
Well,
something."
poor to the, like, I mean, I have like the wildest stories about being there and other places and whatever. I mean, kids dying because they don't have medicine. Right?
Yeah.
They don't have food. They don't have anything. Anyways, but people starving to death. I can't remember how I got to that point. People don't having anything. Oh, so if somebody doesn't have any clothes and you say, I'm going to give you some underwear.
Yeah.
We'll give you a loaf of bread a week.
Yeah.
You'll kill for that person.
Yeah.
Right. And so you promise all these people who have nothing a little bit, but that's where you're going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting more than a loaf of bread a week,
Right.
but I'm keeping you alive.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so the, I would rather personally
Yeah.
have the promise of unlimited potential
Mm-hmm.
than being capped and kept alive.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. And that's how did communism come into? It seems like it's a young person's thing now.
Yeah.
But it seems to be becoming more and more prevalent. We got, universal basic income that's being talked about, right? In terms of, supposedly AI is going to take all these jobs. There's not going to be enough jobs for people, so somehow they're going to have to get paid, so we're going to pay everyone a set amount of money.
Who's going to pay?
Exactly. Corporations, because now they don't have any employees? I don't know. They're not going to do that.
With what money, though?
Right.
No, so I think some of these questions, dude, I'm like, man, there are like very basic questions to ask.
Yeah.
Who is paying?
Yeah.
You are paying.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with what's going on right now with everything in the United States. It's like all of the money that we pay at the end of the day seems like it doesn't go to stuff that really helps us in this room.
It's crazy to me. And I think that this is something that most people can like, I do feel like most people, despite what side of the issues you fall on, like I pay in all this money, right? Half of my money.
Yeah. Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Probably over half of
Yeah, you start adding in taxes, and when you spend your money,
I spend in over half of my money, and that money goes where?
Yeah.
Right? That money, is there any other country in the fucking world taxing their citizens to pave our streets?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the first thing they always come up with is the money goes to pave streets. But then where's it going after that? Because all the streets aren't
there's
paved.
so much fucking waste.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's going to the people that are
Well, it's not even that. It's
making
going
those tax breaks.
to countries not here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not it tax my money, and I understand. Like, I do understand. I'm not the smartest guy in most rooms that I'm in. You know what I mean? So I do understand. Like, it is good to have good neighbors and take care of your neighbor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When I boil things down and try to think about it, like, my business is my house. You know, my city is my house.
Yep.
You know, like, I try to boil that stuff down. Excuse me. So I understand that, like, we need to like help other countries, and it's good for us to have allies and stuff like that. But man, like, there's so many problems here, and people are hurting here. And then I have to like ask myself the same question though, like, okay, are we hurting as bad as that kid who is getting a loaf of bread and is naked?
Right.
Probably not. Right.
But at what point is it
my problem?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which sounds awful to say.
It's hard to say.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Because then I feel like if you almost live your life like that, then how are you ever going to be happy?
I got to take care of myself first.
Right.
And I think me being strong, I am able to take care of more people than me giving away all my things and us all being on the same level.
Imagine all of us, we get 50 people together. We take away 10% of all of our taxes that we paid in. And we take that 10% of all of our taxes and do something. We could do something way more useful with that money, guaranteed.
100%. And I do think so. I know we got the wrap up sign. I could talk about some of this stuff.
We got like 10 more minutes.
This is shit that I never like get asked about, right? And I don't talk about it unless I'm asked about it, because I fucking hate people like telling me how I should think and shit like that.
Yeah.
But this is stuff that I think about quite a bit, and it's like I do think like it's an election year, and it's like almost I'm like, this is just the same shit.
Yeah.
Every 4 years, they let us promise some groups of people a bunch of shit, and then fuck them.
Right.
As though we're not going to do anything that we said we're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's like, I think about that with abortion. I'm going in, dude. Like, I think about that with abortion, right? Like, how did you not codify Roe v. Wade?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. That was a whole weird thing.
Dog, I'm saying, I know why.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems like every election.
Well, they want the power, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, if you let them in,
that's it.
They're going to take this from you.
Yeah.
Hey, if you let them in, they're going to take your guns.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I do feel like in my lifetime, I do feel like our government has gone from being of the people for the people, to ruling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And I don't think I'm alone in that. I feel like there is a low grade fever of that in our country. And I do think that's dangerous.
Yep.
Right.
Well, I think they're seeing how far they can get away. The COVID putting people, you can't go out, have to wear a mask. They're seeing how far they can get with telling you what to do and how much you listen.
I agree.
And I think so many people are starting to realize, like, okay, that was if you want to believe COVID, real, not, vaccine, whatever. Like, I never got the vaccine, and it stopped me from going to a ton of things.
Yeah.
And I think they were just seeing how far they could get with it. How far can they tell you to do something and you listen, or how much can they actually stop you from doing things?
Mm-hmm.
And every corporation, you know, Blues games, anything like that, they stop you from going.
Yep.
Because the government said if you don't have this card, you can't go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's so who is they? Right, is what I started thinking. I don't know. And that
You got a couple of them.
Yeah.
so who is they, and then what do you do? And I
Mhm.
think that's something like most things in my life, like, oh, I'm fat. Like, okay, stop eating all the fucking ice cream, and that takes care of this.
Right.
There is no easy what to do here.
Mhm.
Right. And so,
There's no clear. And there's also no person that's like forefronting.
Yeah. It's not just
Doing
to
it.
kill that person. You know what I mean? Or like,
Have you ever talked to
vote against
local
that person.
politics? Even them are like, yeah, you got to play ball. And I'm like, you're
Yeah.
fucking like, you're not even someone important. And you're
Right.
talking like, you
Yeah.
have to like play ball. And
Dude,
now
we're
you don't
supposed to-
follow. Now you don't follow what you actually believe in because
Right.
you're part of the system. Like, if you're going into that, like, you're just like everyone else.
Well, it's when you were in China, they said like, you know, somebody's listening. It's the same thing now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but who's somebody?
yeah,
Who's that
How do you
somebody?
just get people, I guess, with the huevos to just be like, it doesn't matter what everyone else. It doesn't matter. I'm going to stick to exactly what I want to and what the people voted me to do.
Mhm.
And that's it.
I do think there are people like that, and I don't care, like, on, you know, what side of the aisle, what you're. I don't care. Like,
Just have conviction and be fucking honest.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you're like, yo, I'm in the KKK and I hate everyone who isn't white, I'm like, cool, I know who you are.
Yeah.
At least you know.
I know where you stand.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
And I respect that.
Yeah.
Right? I don't respect your, I don't agree
Yeah.
with you.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
But I
And
know
on
where
the
you
same
stand.
side, if you're like, fuck white people, I'm like, cool. I don't agree with
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I don't think that's tight. But
Mhm.
thank you
Yeah.
Yeah.
for letting me know who you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Because
And
now we're not guessing.
right.
We can put you over there now.
Then that's fine. And
Yeah.
I feel like everybody can have their own viewpoint. I don't care.
Mhm.
But I do feel like, man, a lot of people like I don't know, shy, and maybe myself included. I say a lot of people, but there's I feel like
There's that like cancel culture these days. People are like scared to say.
But I do feel like cancel, like some of that stuff is like an old excuse.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's so much cancel culture
I think people just don't have that
No, I mean,
debate.
the roast
care
of
too
Tom
much about
Brady
what.
just proved that cancel culture is kind of over.
Yeah.
I didn't see there's like
It was crazy.
But it's
Yeah,
just,
I
what
didn't
people
also
think about it.
It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
I
Definitely too long, but they were going in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and some of that stuff coming back is cool. I don't think I was like, I don't say the F word, right?
Mhm.
Growing up, like everybody was, you know, whatever, you're FAG, right?
Yeah.
And I just don't say that. I feel like some of that stuff has come back. I don't know. There's some
Right.
of the, like, I feel like the pendulum swings,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like, man, people get a little too loose with what they say sometimes. Like, I was at the park last night, and these kids were like, fuck, and I say fuck, whatever.
Yeah.
But like when I was like younger, I mean, I was like crazy as shit. I had a gun.
Yeah,
yeah,
But I had some like respect. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I wasn't like cussing around grown-ups. I didn't,
Adults.
Right.
Yep.
right? And I was like, look at these kids. And like, I'm there with my kids. You know, they're
Yeah.
7 and 8, you know, almost 7 and 9. And this kid's like, man, fuck, dude. And I was like, dog, we're in Clayton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
Relax.
what made you think it was okay to talk like this?
Yeah.
Right.
At what point? And I do.
Yeah.
So here's what I think. One, you've been in fights before?
Yes.
Okay.
I usually lose.
Okay.
Actually, I don't think I've won one.
But I do
That's not
feel
good.
like, man, there's like there's like
Just
this
being honest.
weird little storm. It's fine.
Mm.
There's of like you know, being able, like, going from being scared to talk
Yeah.
and scared of confrontation
Right.
Mhm.
to then feeling emboldened to like feel like you can say anything you want because you can say it on a phone
Yep.
Right.
without consequences.
Is parenting the issue?
I think in some
Because
ways,
everyone
think it's-
blames social media.
I think
but
it is
it's-
honestly a lot of social media because, like you just said, you can go on your phone and if you go to school with a kid that posted something, you can be
I
like,
don't-
"Fuck you."
I think social media is an excuse.
I do too. I
Yeah.
really do feel like that. I do.
Because your kid sucks because of social media. Not
I think
'cause
that's
you
another
suck
thing
as
that's
a
like, what's the
parent.
actual reason? We blame all these things. It's social media, it's parenting, but then what is it really? And nobody really has that answer. Otherwise, it'd probably be
I think there's
Parenting.
some,
Yeah.
like
I think a lot of it comes down to
community.
parenting.
I think being
Yeah.
close to people. I don't know. There
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
something happened recently where like my kid, and I have badass kids, right?
Mhm.
I like teach them well, and then
Mhm.
mom that loves them, and
Yeah.
whatever, right? And the I don't know. I teach my kids at night, like, you know, like I say, you know, what are you thankful for? What are you proud of? And what's something that you did for somebody else, right?
Yeah.
In a sense,
Yeah.
I'm teaching them to pray. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, oh, we're praying to God, blah blah.
Mhm.
But this is like the foundation of prayers. Right?
Yeah.
You know, thankfulness, looking forward, and like assessing yourself right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man, like there's a few things where I'm still learning. I don't know anything, but I try to teach my kids like I'm raising adults. I'm not raising children.
Yes.
You know? And so I don't know, but like I could tell so many different stories about that stuff, but
I think it's almost like not cool to love anymore. You know, not, you know, love your family, stuff like that, but it's almost like not cool to love your friends and things like that. Like take care of them. Like if you do something nice for your friend and you're, you know, younger these days, I think the older generation has a little bit more, you know, respect for each other. But like the younger generation, if you do something nice,
that
for your friend,
I think
it's like,
that kind of comes back to social. Yeah. That might go back to social media though, because when a lot of respect, because when a lot of interactions are online, you could talk a lot of shit online. I mean, we did. I grew up playing Xbox 360. Oh my God. Back in the day, those lobbies were insane. But you didn't know the person. Right. It was some guy.
You would never say anything.
It doesn't matter.
Somebody.
You would never say anything that we were to say in any of those lobbies directly to a person, because then it's not funny. And then that person could punch you in the face or vice versa.
I will say by and large, dude, like most of my interactions, the overwhelming amount of my interactions, dude, are good, nice, and respectful.
For sure.
In person.
Yep.
I do feel like we are like meant to feel like or taught that we hate each other. I just don't think that
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this year with an election year is going to, we'll see. I hope that, you know, you would think that we could all come to the same conclusion and consciousness that us as one is a lot more beneficial than us as like 2 or 3 parties. It's like at the end of the day, a majority of these people 100% don't care about you. If not, they actively do stuff to hurt you. But just it's not talked about. It's always like, it's either you're on this side, you're on that side, you're the problem, or you're the problem. It's never, we're not the problem. They're the problem, right? The people in charge are the problem. We need to figure out a way to make it change without going back and forth on whose party is who, because at the end of the day, the party doesn't seem to make a damn difference. They're all in bed with each other anyways.
I agree. Yeah. So, I don't know. I could talk about some of that stuff too. It's wild. This is stuff that's, you should be able to make money while you're in, like there should be a place of service. Yeah. Right? Like insider trading shit. This stuff is like, it's insane.
It's crazy.
That it's just flat out in the open.
Well, there's Nancy Pelosi, like
ETFs.
Yeah.
Right. And she's but your beef market.
She's gonna leave with like what, 500 million, I think. It's astronomical how much money she has now.
Yeah.
She entered with like $1 million, 50 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
I talk about where your money's going, that's where.
Well, she knows. I mean, they're passing bills and stuff that affects public companies.
We're gonna give Pfizer the green light for their vaccine.
Yeah. Better buy some
Everybody
stock.
Go buy some fucking stock.
Yeah. Make some calls. Yeah. Put some call options on. Yeah.
What the dude who's GameStop? Right? Did you see
deals?
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. I'm in.
Let's fucking lock him up.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
dude, they immediately went for him.
Yeah.
Dude, that there are so many. I have a bunch of GameStop, so
yeah.
I'm on that. I'm on that bandwagon.
Right on. Well, cool. Is there any other questions you guys want to ask, or
no? So before we get out of here, let's ask you one quick thing.
Yeah.
What's the biggest piece of advice you can give to aspiring entrepreneurs?
Man, I get asked all the time, and I feel like I never have a good answer.
Well, what's the best advice you've ever been given? Because you kind of started,
do it yourself.
Left and went very right.
Yeah, like don't be a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, man, so many people ask for permission from so many people to do things for themselves, and you just like it's like
don't have to ask any
boogeyman. You don't have to ask anybody. You just go. And the crazy thing is nobody knows anything. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, like a lot of people are liars, right? They don't have the things that they talk about having. It is crazy. Some nights, like I don't go out a lot, but sometimes when I go out to places and I see, like, oh, so everyone in this room is a millionaire?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
No, you're not.
Is it just St. Louis? I feel like St. Louis has really had that problem.
That's everywhere.
Recently. Okay. So it's
that's everywhere, dude. like my son just went to Miami. He went to he plays soccer and he was in Miami. It's all messy and it's badass, right?
Yeah.
Like, man, this is tight.
Yeah.
And and he's like, Dad, there's like Lamborghinis everywhere. And,
Yeah.
like, we have some cool cars and stuff, right?
Sure.
Yep.
And he's like, everyone here is rich. And I'm like, I know, because I've like done some stuff with some of these companies where like, there's all these exotic rental car companies.
Yeah. 100%.
Rented.
Most
of them are rented.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there are people who have those things.
100%.
There are people who have those things.
100%. Yeah.
And but like not everyone,
Nope.
not everyone has that, but you're led to believe that like, all these people. So we started this store on Del Mar Skinker. There's no signs, there's no awnings. It just looks like a fucking building, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a donut shop inside of it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, strange donuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's at night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're up late. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The first day that we were open, I don't remember the exact dollar amount, but it was a couple $100 maybe
Yeah.
in sales
Sure.
for Strange Donuts.
Yeah.
Didn't like push it really that we were open.
Mm-hmm.
Said whatever, we will do that now. But I view that as a win.
Yeah.
If I told a lot of people, a lot of people are expecting, lines down the block and like all this crazy
Yep.
success.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think, man, like patience, making a list of things that you want to accomplish. It doesn't matter, I'm going to steal, listen to the MFCEO podcast, the Andy Pierce
Yeah. Yep.
dude. And like, it's very simple stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Make a list of
Yep.
things that need to get done. Do those things.
Do those things. Yeah.
Be fucking patient,
Mm-hmm.
right? And don't believe that all these people are like so much further ahead of you. I'll tell you, I grew up a little fucking Hoosier,
Yeah.
busted out teeth, and I just thought that like there's them,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's me.
Yep.
And I will never be them.
Yep.
Come to find out, dude, like I bought this shopping center in Edwardsville, Illinois.
Mm.
At the same time, I closed on this farm. I have a farm. It's 2,000 acres. Right?
Nice.
That's fucking crazy.
Hell yeah.
Right?
That's awesome.
And so they closed like on the same week. I needed this guy. One time I was at this dinner and I meet with these like business dudes every Monday. And this guy was just a fucking dickhead.
Mm.
Okay. And so he's like, I never said this story publicly, but I was going to get a Porsche.
Yeah.
A 2014 911 Turbo S.
Yeah.
I'm at one end of the table and I'm like talking to my buddy, like, dude, I think I might get this fucking car, man. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy at the end of the table, he's like, what kind of car are you talking about again? And I was like, oh, it's a 2014 911 Porsche Turbo S. He's like, you think that's cool? And I was like,
Oh.
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
That question.
I do. And he's like, well, my friend has this and this and this.
Mhm.
And I was like, cool. And this dude's like, maybe 15 years old.
Yeah. It's like your friend? Who gives a shit about your friend?
Fuck about it. Yeah, but I'm a younger dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was,
Yeah,
and so I was like, not like I'm a kid at the time. I mean, I'm 30, whatever, but
Mhm.
I didn't have that shit. It took a while to like get to the point to be able to do some of those things. Anyways, in my head, he's rich. I'm a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Fast forward. I'm buying the shopping center. I'm buying this farm. In my head, I'm still fucking poor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
I'm like, hey man, I need $100,000
Mm-hmm.
to borrow. I need it for a week.
Yeah.
Because these things are closing at the same time and I need some money.
Yep.
I'll give you 110 at the end of the week after I close and these things wrap up.
Sure.
And he's like, 100,000, and he like ghosted me.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, like, I don't want to pressure you. And this is like the last time I'll ask.
Yeah.
But do you think? And he's like, I don't have $100,000.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Like I just figured
Yeah.
this dude's got a big, nice house. You know what I mean? He's got all this stuff. And he's like, I literally don't have it. Fast forward a few weeks, dude. But the guy, like in the whole meantime, made me feel small.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Something happened with somebody in this dude's family where they got locked up.
Mm.
He called he had bailed $20,000.
Yeah.
He called all my friends asking for money.
Yeah.
It was a big lesson to me. One, because I've had my head down, because like this thing cuts both ways. This like low self-worth cuts both ways,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where I'm like, I'm shitty, so I'm going to work hard.
Yeah.
If you have that chip, if you're young, keep it. at some point it will cut against you. You have to get over it. And but I realized that when I'm like, oh, even these people, after I have some stuff that I thought, I'm like, man, I have so much more than them.
Yep. Well, I said a long time ago, comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh my God, yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. And you're usually comparing yourself,
especially with social media.
Fucking lying.
Yes.
Right.
It's very easy to post a photo. I mean, it's very easy to post a photo of you next to a jet.
Right.
It's very easy to post a photo of you next to a nice car. It's very easy.
Yeah. I'll talk to some of these girls.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I'm whatever, single. I'll be like, so how do you, like, you're always on trips and shit. Like, what's going on? This is crazy. How do you, and I'm like, how do you, if you don't mind me asking, like,
how do you afford it?
How do you afford this stuff? And they're like, oh, well, that's like, I go on one trip and I take like a ton of photos, and then I like, I just post them like every couple months.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. They just change fits, stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like, oh, so you're not in Malibu every other week. Like you went once.
God.
You went once a year ago.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Or they're on a jet, or they hire somebody like me, like, let me take pictures on a jet, and they'll have a hoodie on, take the hoodie off, post 2 different pictures. Looks like it was different.
Wow.
times.
With,
you know what I mean?
With that said, that's all the time we have. Before we get out of here, wrapping it up on that, let the people know where they can find you. Of course, visit Strange Donuts.
Maplewood, Kirkwood, Creve Coeur, U City,
and
Up Late is Vanderbilt. Go to World's Fair. We own that. So Up Late STL on Instagram. Strange Donuts at everywhere. I'm at Cerny Banders. And if you own a hospital or purchase for a hospital or university, btfurnishings@gmail.com, and which is like the dumbest email, but it still works. So we wrote so
there you go.
That's it. Thanks.
Cool, man.
Awesome.
Well,
Appreciate it.
It's been great. All right. That's all the time we have for today. We will be back next week with another episode, new guest, and more of myself and Adam here. If you're watching live or later, please like, review, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell. We release every single Friday. And if you are looking to record a podcast, have them help you distribute the podcast, reach out to the guys here at halfcoaststudios.com. We'll see everyone again next week. Thank you.